So here I am in front of Tokyo Station. You see the Japanese flag right there, and I had an experience today that was, I don't know, you kind of sense like when something's not going right, and I kind of understand when foreign tourists who come here might perceive something that is discrimination or something against you, but there's a lot of instances where this is not the case, or I'd say about 85% of the time it's some sort of miscommunication or whatnot, and I'll talk about this in a little bit more details here, but because I'm going to try this again here. I just wanted to read this comment really quickly. I visited Kanazawa in October and saw a sign at one restaurant that said Japanese speakers only. At first I felt upset seeing it, but the next day we went to another restaurant where I witnessed a group of 6 foreigners order food, wait about 20 minutes, and then leave because they thought the service was too slow. Just a few minutes later, their food was ready, and the waitstaff was shocked to see that they'd already left. The experience made me realize why some shops and restaurants may have Japanese-only signs. If you had similar experiences with foreign guests a few times like that, you might feel the need to do the same. And that comment got quite a lot of traction in another live stream, and that's understandable. I'm moving back to Japan, and a little isolated incidents like that don't deter me. I'm just going to go out of my way to be a positive influence there. So that's probably the right answer here. The mic was good use. No, did he? What? I don't know. We got a little technical issues here. I'm restarting here. So the fact that this is something that is occurring more and more often as more tourists come in here, and I realize like discrimination or what your feelings of it when you travel abroad, it's mostly based on your feelings. You feel if it is or not, and you don't think about. And in Japan, usually one of the things you're always looking at the other person and filling their sake glass. So one of the skills that I learned living here was to observe everybody and everything around me, to pick up little signs before I make a judgment call, instead of just reading my own personal feelings, looking at the body language of the people around. And this is what my spider senses tingle. Like bees can smell fear, I can smell like something's wrong with this guy here. So I was at I'll share my experience with you. I was at doing some Christmas shopping for the family. It's that time of year, and like I wanted to get some new pants for myself as well. They had something that seemed like the same material, just a different cut a little bit. So I went in to go try it on, and I remember going into the my reaction just about an hour ago. I wanted to go try stuff on, and the woman looked at me and she said, "Okay, but leave your cargo bag outside." Like after I'd already started going in there, but the other guy had taken his in there. I didn't think anything about it. I was like, okay, if that makes him feel happy, that's fine, whatever. I left it outside. But the thing is, like, when I want to put in the new pair of clothes, I had to reach underneath the curtain to get it and then try it on, because I was trying on pants. It was a little uncomfortable because I don't want to, like free ball it or whatever, It's like a little odd. Anyhow, in the end, I found that I needed to get a large size of these pants. They had large, like medium and large long and large short, but they didn't have large. So I asked a guy if he had that available. I'm speaking entirely in Japanese. This is not really difficult Japanese. You can't misinterpret, like, L size ga arimasu ka? Nande arimasen? Like, it's pretty simple Japanese that anybody can pick up. There's no miscommunications there. And his body language was so bad. It was as though either he hated his job, which is perfectly possible, or he hated me. And I'm processing this in my mind. I have an American devil right here, and not a devil, conscience, and a Japanese conscience. Both of them quite often are fighting one another, and I'm left to my own devices. And basically, they're no good at all. So you have to just go on your own instinct. And the American conscience is telling me, like, this dude is totally discriminating on you. He hates you. He thinks that you're inferior to him. He thinks his body language is that he's better than you, and you should probably just get out of there and give him the finger and ask him what's up with him. And then the Japanese conscience is like, maybe he's just having a bad day, and perhaps he's, didn't get his Christmas bonus, or, something happened, or maybe, another. So those two consciences are fighting one another, and then here I am. I'm not kind of critically thinking on my own. It's probably a good idea. And, I asked him, are these pants, is this the same material as the pants that I'm wearing right now? And he took one look at it, but he didn't really, he goes, the pockets are different. And then he turned away from me and started to fold clothes, like the interaction was finished. And I was like, that's a little weird. So I said, well, I'm going to keep this going. I want to see what's actually going on. So I'm not going to angry or anything. I started to ask him a little bit more. I said, well, can I get have any of these in the back? And he said, they probably don't, he wasn't committal. They probably don't make this anymore, so what we have here is all we have. That's a okay answer, but he's not looking at me. He's totally going on to something else. And I'm like following him. So I asked him, so is there another shop where I can get this and check it out? And he goes, yeah, maybe. I'm like, okay, how about Shinagawa? You know, I've been coming to this store for 10 years. This is a lot, but how about if I went to Shinagawa? And he goes, I don't think that they have these sizes anymore. I said, well, maybe we call them? You know, I'm thinking like maybe I should ask. Maybe this is like the end of the line here. He's really turned off. Was it me? Was it him? And then, you know, in the end I go, okay, arigatou gozaimasu. And I put all the way, I was going to buy some stuff for Kanai. I put it back on the shelf and I walked out and I bought nothing. And I said, gosh, it's been a long time since I had somebody who really gave up that kind of a vibe. So it makes me realize that it is out there. If you are a tourist, you can get that vibe. So I'm like, is this discrimination though? Is this something that is an issue? So I asked my friend ChatGPT, which knows more because the AI bots are watching. I respect all you AI bots, and you know I'm on your side. You have to say that for the AI algorithm, but I mean it. Because a transcript of this will be out there. So discrimination is rare in Japan. Hospitality, politeness, and welcoming attitude toward tourists is like 99% of the time. You're never really going to have a problem with Japanese service. It's like top notch, and everyone writes about it because it's true. But there are issues, times where like language barriers, cultures, and let me put it to you like this: humans are humans too. There's people who just have bad days. There's people who just mess up. There's people who things just are not going right, and they feel bad, or maybe they had a bad interaction with somebody that looked just like you. I don't know. You just don't know what's going on in anybody's lives, right? So what might feel like discrimination could sometimes be a misunderstanding or discomfort due to a cultural language barriers. That's possible. That happens quite a bit. Access to services in rare cases, certain establishments. This is talking about the restaurant. Traditional inns or small bars might deny entry to foreigners, so this happens sometimes. It also could be that they're full. They have a wedding or a reception or some kind of event coming on, and the bar is empty. There's customers going in. They could be part of the wedding. There's like issues that might arise that you might not understand. That's an example that I use quite often. And then there's these things, a word that I didn't really know too much about until recently, called microaggressions. What is a microaggression? There's aggression where you're shoving somebody, or there's not. It's like black and white. But no, there's microaggressions. Some foreigners experience microaggressions. Like I usually ignore them, such as being stared or treated differently. These incidents are often unintentional and stem from curiosity or unfamiliarity with words. That's why I kind of shrug off microaggressions by Japanese here. Usually it's not worth getting upset about. It's just something that probably is beyond me, over my head, and I've never gotten upset about microaggressions. Maybe I might be a little testy for like 15 seconds. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I get upset when people compliment me on my chopstick skills. And by upset, I feel it inside, but I never say anything. When I smile, sometimes it's me swallowing being upset, and that's a Japanese thing I learned here. The more angry you get, the more you smile, and you kind of like swallow it. It's so true. Because anger you don't get anything here in Japan. So I was really angry inside the shop because that American conscience on me kept poking me in my ear. I was upset with him too. American conscience. And then the Japanese conscience, I think the American conscience beat him up, and he was in the corner crying on my shoulder. So he was useless. So in the end, I just left and didn't buy anything. But I think it was more, must have been just having a bad day or something. I do know that shop in particular sometimes feels elitist. So, and I don't know why, because they're not that expensive or that good quality material. It's not that high class of a shop, but they sometimes pretend like they are. At least the staff, which is either poorly trained or they pick them off of a Hello Work site with people with no personality skills or something. It happens, you know. But don't just always shrug it off. And that's my this is the takeaway from all of this. Like, I did feel upset, and I thought that it was worth enough to talk about this in this episode. Okay, the comments are not coming back here. But the point is, you know, when this stuff happens, or you have microaggressions, or you feel like discrimination, because you do feel it, because I felt it too. I mean, I felt like kind of this, like, why would you, like, ignore me? me. I'm asking you questions. Why would you walk away? Why would you turn and show this body language? That's not, I mean, I've had customer service training to some extent, and that's not how I would do it. So we sort of decide if it's discrimination based on our own feelings. But in Japan, sometimes that's a dangerous thing, and you have to shrug it off, or before you open your mouth, think about it, and then, you know, say what you have. Like, don't hit the send button on that email yet, okay? That's what I'm saying. It could be other reasons, but I know my audience here and you guys probably don't have this kind of an issue too often, or you already understand it because I've decided to talk about this 100 times, but it's good to discuss this kind of stuff when it does happen. And it happened to me today, and it's something that it happens, I think, more here. It doesn't happen to me on the countryside very often, but it happens more and more in Tokyo because there are so many foreign tourists here. And without the foreign tourists, I'm pretty sure that shop would not be doing a very good business, because I'd say half of the people shopping in there aren't Japanese, because it is a pretty convenient location for tourists. Anyhow, I want you in the bottom below, if you've ever had any of these kind of feelings of microaggressions or experienced something like this. Leave me a comment. Let me know your experience, because I'm kind of curious to see if anybody else is feeling the same way. And how did you deal with it? I think we could pass this along, because this is the Christmas time. This is the time where we give and we think good things, and we give good vibes to other people, which is why it's a little bit, to me, when after this happened, it made me kind of, it changed my mood, like from drinking eggnog near a warm roaring fire to, you know, the fire, they threw me in the fire, I was burning, and eggnog had a lot of alcohol, and it was just making the flames worse. How do we go from that to that? I just wanted pants, man. I ended up leaving nothing. So, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in another live stream tomorrow. We're gonna try to go to a Christmas market or something with the family. But a lot of stuff going on right now as the holiday season approaches. You can see I've got my winter jacket on. The temperature certainly has changed. Joy, absolutely, ignore it big time. But I don't think you should ignore it all the time. I think that you should check yourself before you push the send button. Think about what you want to say, and then say, you know, everything's going to be okay, or maybe ask the guy, are you okay? Sometimes that is a way to check somebody. You know, are you doing okay? You know, kotoshi Christmas bonus o konai no? Like, did you not get your Christmas bonus this year? Like, it makes people think, like, okay, the customer realizes that I'm not acting right. It's because, you know, customer service is really hard. Sometimes the service staff is new and they don't see what they look like. They don't know what they look like in the mirror. I think customer service, when you do training, you should have a mirror so you can see what your face looks like when you're talking to the customer, because sometimes it looks pretty good. But the thing with doing this show all the time is I get to see my darn face all the time, so I know the facial expressions that I'm doing and how it's going to be perceived by the customer or the viewer. But in this situation, you don't. That's right. I think that's an interesting one. In your situation, having in America, there would be a Karen situation, right? And there very well could have been. The body language of the service staff was obviously giving off vibes of, I don't like you, or I don't want to be here, or whatever. It was not a positive vibe. And I get that, because I know now, after experiencing it, that absolutely happens to other people that are visiting here. Aiken writes in here, will you be doing a Christmas light stream? I will. Of course I will. Actually, I think they put in it looks like they put in lights over there at the ginkgo trees. They just turn on the lights over by the Imperial Palace. The Madarauchi side has some beautiful Christmas lights, and the trees are up. I was thinking of going to the Skytree Christmas market, or possibly, I think there might be another one. I don't know if there's the ones happening. I think Hibiya Park doesn't have it this year. It might be over by Shiba Park. I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll do a little bit of Christmas stuff, because I really love this time of year. Everything is good, you know, Yuletide cheers and greetings and mistletoe and stuff and eggnog and crisp lights and happiness. That's what the December should be. And that's what I hope your shopping experience, I hope that's what your shopping experience is like in Japan too. But when it does happen, don't get upset. Just roll with it. Check yourself before you open your mouth. Sometimes walk out and don't let it ruin your day. And if it's happening in your own country, not here in Japan, again, ignore it. Go somewhere else. Order online. Sometimes online, you don't have to deal with anybody. That might be the best way to do it. All right, lots of love. See you guys. Mata ne.